evening, and thanks for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Jurnee Taylor here with meteorologist Simone Thomas, and if you're not talking about it, we've been talking about it. It is cold outside. Faucets are dripping. We're checking on people. Warming centers are opening, of course. Simone, it's cold now, but we're expecting some more colder air.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get a little bit colder overnight as we continue through those overnight hours, but we got to warm up on the way through the week. Here's what things already look like. We're in the 20s across central Arkansas with feels like temperatures already in the teens. 23 right now in the capital city with the feels like of 12 degrees, 25 in Pine Bluff, feeling like 18 degrees. West Memphis over to our east already with feels like temperatures down to the single digits. So in those overnight hours, expecting to get a little bit colder. This is what we're expecting when you get ready to head out the door in the morning. Temperatures in the teens, likely seeing those feels like temperatures still hanging on to the teens. And then throughout the day tomorrow, we are going to warm up a bit more than what we saw today, looking to at least break into the 40s tomorrow, as you see, with a lot of sunshine through the day. I'll tell you how warm we're looking to get through the rest of the week in your 11-day outlook, so make sure you stick around.
We have some breaking news to share. Actor and director Rob Reiner and his wife have been found dead at his LA home. An investigation is currently underway. Local first responders reached the scene this afternoon to provide medical aid. That's when both of the bodies were discovered. The cause of deaths are unknown at this time. You can stay with THV 11 as we learn more. In Sydney, Australia, 2 men opened fire on the Jewish community gathered on Bondi Beach during a Hanukkah celebration, killing at least 15 people and injuring 42 others. The attackers identified as a father and son. A warning, these images you're about to see are disturbing. CBS's Lee Keniri has the latest.
The gathering, a party called Hanukkah by the Sea. A celebration of Jewish life. Until gunmen start shooting. 2 men, police say, a father and son, were filmed firing for at least 5 uninterrupted minutes, killing in cold blood. Incredibly, one attacker is tackled by a member of the public, grabbing hold of his weapon and turning it on him until he backs away. But shots kept coming, ringing out on Australia's famous Bondi Beach. It emptied out in a matter of minutes. But it was this, the Hanukkah party, just a few yards from the gunman, that became a murder scene.
And I just saw an older lady get shot, and she was on the floor. So an older guy get shot, very badly injured on the left-hand side, and I just saw a bunch of people screaming, run towards me. I didn't know what was going on.
The suspects were stopped by Australian police. A final shootout captured on drone camera. The father hit by a fatal shot and his son in critical condition. And Australia is a nation in mourning.
Which should be a day of joy, a celebration of faith, an act of evil anti-Semitism, terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation.
This is the deadliest shooting in almost 3 decades in a country with strict gun control laws. And it could have been worse. Police found 2 undetonated explosives in the suspect's car. Among the dead, police say the oldest victim was 87 and the youngest was just 10 years old.
Well, with the tragedy coming from Australia, we turn now to similar events in Providence. Local police are releasing the person of interest originally detained in connection to the Brown University shooting. As we previously reported, 2 people were killed and 9 others wounded at Brown University. The shooting coming as students on campus were taking final exams. Classes and exams and assignments have all been canceled for the remainder of the semester. On the week before Christmas, all through the House, a GOP healthcare plan is stirring, which could affect you and your spouse. John Lorick reports.
Healthcare is among the last items on the House of Representatives' agenda for 2025, and it might take a Christmas miracle to get it passed.
The lack of urgency and the lack of care on this issue is so indicative of how disconnected people are from the real life consequences that people are experiencing because of this.
The Republican-backed proposal unveiled Friday includes expanding the availability of associated health plans to allow employers to join together and buy coverage.
We have the tool in the toolbox to make another unilateral Republican run at reforms that we believe will bring the cost of care down.
It would also fund cost-sharing reduction payments to lower premiums for certain Affordable Care Act enrollees.
We want to give the money to the people and let the people buy their own great health care. And they'll save a lot of money, and it'll be great.
However, the plan doesn't extend enhanced ACA subsidies, which expire on New Year's Eve. If those Obamacare subsidies lapse, some could see their premium payments more than double, according to the KFF Nonpartisan Health Policy Research Group.
Tens of millions of Americans are now about to experience dramatically increased health insurance premiums. That's totally unacceptable.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Illinois is now the 12th state allowing the terminally ill to partake in medical-assisted suicide. This new legislation, also known as Deb's Law, was signed into law Friday by Governor J.B. Pritzker, an advocate living with an uncommon terminal condition, fighting for those to determine when life should end. It will officially begin September 2026. This will allow for the state officials to determine the details. Well, tonight we continue our coverage of the neo-Nazi group sighting right here in Little Rock. At THV 11, we brought you a closer look, including police interaction and 911 calls tied to the incident. Well, today, a local activist group took to the streets, exercising their First Amendment rights outside the state capitol in response. THV 11's Maya Ellison has a closer look at their message and what they're calling for.
Say it loud, say it clear, fascists are not welcome here.
A small group gathered Sunday afternoon, and even in the cold, they made their presence known.
The goal here is to gain more people out yelling about it. If the Nazis are coming out to march through our neighborhoods with guns and our response is silence, then that number of Nazis grows, and we can't have that.
The Committee of Labor for Arkansas Workers, also known as CLAW, held an anti-fascist rally right outside the state capitol. It was a different scene from last week's neo-Nazi sighting right here in Little Rock.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
We have a bunch of guys here with Nazi flags, red shirts, rocking down MLK, doing a lot of chanting with bulletproof vests on.
Police body cam footage showed the interaction with the masked neo-Nazi group Blood Tribe. More than 20 men were identified and were told to remove their mask and provide identification.
I was baffled.
Joan Cates tells me Sunday's rally was in direct response to that earlier sighting through chants.
No Nazis, no KKK, no fascist USA.
And signs. He explains that their goal is to send a message of progress.
Get out in the streets. Tell the Nazis they're not welcome because, as they're saying, they back down when you stand up to them.
We at THV 11 reached out to Governor Sanders' office for comment. They pointed us to the previous statement that we received. It says, quote, "Racism has no place in Arkansas, and I condemn this vile protest."
They think that they are some kind of ruling class of society, but the sad thing is they're on the bottom. They're on the bottom with us.
Kate says this won't be the last time the group makes its voice heard. He says they hope to continue reaching other communities and encouraging more people to get involved.
And all that the people that came last week were trying to demonstrate was that they can withhold progress, they can slow it down, and we're showing that progress won't be slowed down, and you can violently protest progress, but progress happens.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
All right, thank you, Maya. Well, as for the neo-Nazi group, which is based out of the state, both Arkansas State and Little Rock Police confirmed that officers cited the driver in the truck and required the other members of the group to find alternative transportation last week. No additional sightings have been reported. The Central Arkansas community is preparing for Christmas. North Little Rock Elks Lodge Christmas Parade was held this afternoon. The route started in the Argenta district on Main Street, going to Washington from Pershing. This year's theme was Winter Wonderland, with spectators enjoying all the sights and sounds of the event. Marching band members and, of course, beauty pageant contestants were just a few of the participants that joined in. Well, along with many parades in our area, some are celebrating the holidays in a different way. The Lapovich of Arkansas celebrated the lighting of menorah tonight. This is an 8th-day observance of Hanukkah, reaffirming both ideas and principles of Judaism. One rabbi explains the importance of these public events.
You don't have to be Jewish to know that light and goodness will overcome darkness and evil. You don't have to be Jewish in order to have respect for the human being. This is a message which is universal in cause. That's why the Rebbe campaign has been done in a public arena, and that the message can be done for everybody to embrace it. And as we light additional lights, even one light in the dark room, will make a tremendous difference for all of us.
He also added that everyone should reach out to those who might be lonely to make them feel more meaningful.